Hey guys, what's going on? I just want to make a quick video. I've been using this Z8 for about 10 days or like what, maybe 2 weeks or so. And I was the first one getting the first batch on, it was I think May 25th they released it. So I was among the few people who got that first batch. I had initially like a few issues with buying it in China because it's only in Chinese, so I freaked out. And then I was able to actually to update it. I don't know, to change the software somehow, and it changed it back to English, like to a multilingual version of that. So that was solved. But I actually panicked. Oh shit. Well, anyways, they sell it in China, like only in Chinese, so. Just be aware of that. Okay, the first thing that I really noticed when we started shooting as a hotel architecture photographer is that the bracketing system really sucks, and nobody in the community actually mentioned about the bracketing issues here. I guess most of the videos that I made on YouTube is mostly by people who are making content about cameras, about gears, but not really hearing from actual people who are actually, making, like, shooting for a living, like real commercial projects and stuff. But most of the time it's just like reviewing like camera, the specs and all that stuff, but not really like hearing from like firsthand like actual issues with this. And so as a hotel photographers, we pretty rely on like shooting bracketing like on a daily basis. Like every angle we shoot is in bracketing. And the first thing I noticed that the bracketing, they enhance the bracketing system, but to a different ways that we actually desired. For most of the time, I just need two exposures, a regular one and an underexposed one. And this, like what, is this $5,000 camera does not have it, You can only shoot a bracket of 3. The first one is the regular exposure, and then one underexposed and overexposed. And you can do 5 shots, I don't know, like 7, no, not 7, or 9 shots, but it's pointless. This camera, like the dynamic range is enough, like shooting 2 exposures. For most of the time, we need just 2, but some extreme conditions, we need 3, and then sometimes 5, but they're pretty rare. But just most of the time, 2 exposures, and it doesn't do it. A $5,000 camera doesn't do it. Just simple bracketing, like regular exposure and underexposed, because the prior Z7 you can do like -2, -3, -5. So you shoot a regular one and then 3 or 5 underexposed, But you can't do this. It always shoots like regular one, underexposed, overexposed, like yeah. And when so I ended up like spending a lot of time deleting these images, like the third image that I don't need. Initially, I started off shooting the regular exposure. I had to shoot 3 and then 1 underexposed. And most of the time we shoot the regular exposure, like 1 second, something like this, some in darker condition. And the overexposed would take forever. Like overexposed would like take 4 seconds sometimes. If I shoot like at nighttime, like 2-second exposure, like the overexposed would be like I don't know, 5-6 seconds. So I have to wait. So now I have to just adjust my shooting strategy to underexpose my first shot, and then so it has like a really dark underexposed one, and then the last shot is like the regular one that I want. But then I have to kind of guess the first shot, what the end result is going to be. So it's kind of suck, like for the workflow. And spend just a lot of time just like deleting like the additional image that I don't need. A $5,000 camera, and nowadays we don't need that dynamic range of 3. But then for some reason they just like took it off. You know, Z7 you could use still like the bracketing system -2, -3, -5, etc., and then +2, +5, and or like whatever you want, like this option. So it's much better now. They limit this bracketing system, and it's, you know, it's freaking useless, you know, for me. And I addressed this issue to Nikon. They said like they might consider this on the next update. And I'm really surprised that nobody actually talks about this issue. You can't find it in community. You know, there's some people, I think on a DP review, somebody mentioned about it, you know, and there's a thread about it. And nobody seemed to have a proper solutions. Some people tell me like, oh, do this, and then nobody shoots in this mode anymore. We shoot it pretty much every day on this, like, you know, regular exposure, and then the underexposed exposure to get some of the highlights of the lights and stuff. But that's all we need. I don't need freaking 3 exposures of 5. I mean, so yeah, just simple issues that you don't hear. All you hear is on like, oh, shoot like what, 120 images, and then has this feature that nobody actually uses, you know. And all these like camera gear guys, they're not really like actual photographers. They're just reviewing, and all this like supposedly professional photographers or whatever. They don't really like, we shoot like projects, and we actually, you know, shoot with this mode like every single day basically. And it's missing in a $5,000 camera, and that's ridiculous. I mean, so yeah, I'm really disappointed about this, because primarily if you're an architecture shooter, or shooting, you know, with heavily relying on bracketing, you have a big issue with this camera, especially when we shoot like pretty much fast-paced, not spend a whole lot. We're talking about volumes. We're shooting per day, I don't know, 500, 600, 700 images, and each time you have to delete like 1/3 of the content, and just, you know, just the amount of time that you spend, you know, on the, I'm not sure if it affects the shutter, if it takes like all this additional image that I don't need, but since it's electronics, I guess it doesn't. But still, it's just, you know, this is a very simple function where you can just add it. I don't know why they don't do it. It's just Nikon. Okay, enough for the rant. If you have a solution for this, just let me know, write in the comments how to solve this issue with the bracketing system. I addressed this issue at DP review, but nobody seems to have a solution for this. Yeah, okay, peace out.